I want to start off with talking about the news events that I have been paying attention to this coming week before we get into today's lecture. Just so you'll know that while you're trading, these are the things that I personally am paying attention to or will be paying attention to that I think could impact some of the trades that I'm looking at for this coming week. And so I want to share that with you first of all. Okay, so number one, realistically, there's different sprinkles of news events coming out this week, but there's really one day this week that me personally, I'm really going to be focusing on, and that is going to be on Wednesday. The reason why I'm focusing that on Wednesday is because there's two events that's going to be coming out as far as news events that I think could move the markets. The first one that I'm going to be paying attention to is on Wednesdays, where they're going to be talking about the core inflation rate for the US. Okay. Right now, inflation numbers is something really big that's moving the market back and forth. I don't know why, because truth be told, we all know that the numbers are astronomically high, but nevertheless, it is what it is. As a person who trades in the markets, we pay attention to news that could potentially spike the markets for those particular currency pairs. So when it comes to the US dollar, be aware that on Wednesday, there might be a short little spike, depending on what those core inflation numbers are, that reports on Wednesday. But then after that, for the CAD is coming out on Wednesday with its news on its interest rates. Now, I have been teaching on interest rates, on how to understand them for maybe over a year now. So I'll just say this real quickly, and then we'll get into today's lesson. One of the things you need to know about inflation rates is when they say that they're thinking it's going to be hawkish. Hawkish means high, okay? That means they were planning on raising interest rates. If they say they're thinking dovish means down, which means they plan on reducing interest rates. However, there's two things I think could happen on the CAD. They could either leave interest rates where they are, or they could possibly raise interest rates. Either way it goes, be aware of that news. Now, I will say this on this, and then we get into the stress levels of trading. If they say they're going to raise interest rates, then you will see a huge spike in the CAD. Okay, so be aware of that. So don't take that pair lightly. If they say they're going to raise interest rates, investors will rush into that currency pair because they're basically going to start receiving interest on their money. So they'll start coming in, and that's why you'll see a huge spike. If they say they'll leave it alone, we'll see what happens. Okay. All right. So those are the two things that I'm looking for. Next, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to make sure that this video and this topic I'm about to talk about can get shared amongst others, because YouTube will find that you like it. And so they say, okay, others may find it healthy to watch it as well. Let's get into today's lesson. This is critically important. Let me start off by saying this, just so you guys understand something. What's up, D Money? Let me say this to you guys. When it comes to trading, trading is an emotional business. Please take notes on today's lecture. Chances are you will never ever hear or see a video about this topic. Okay, but it's critically important because it affects every person who trades in the markets, whether you trade stocks, bonds, whether you trade the binary options, Forex, it does not matter. Reg, what's up now? Please take notes on what I'm about to explain. Okay, I'm telling you this will help you. Let's begin. Trading is an emotional business. Most people who come to these markets, they're looking for fundamental analysis or technical analysis. That is part of it. Looking at the charts, having the ability to mark up your charts or use some of our trading tools to be able to automate the marking up process, all those different things. That's cool. That will help you. But in the end, after you've done your analysis, you've done your fundamental checks, you did all these different things, and you begin to pull the trigger, a whole different ball game begins. And that's your emotions. And I'm going to tell you why. You don't have to be a Bible believer, but hey, just like the law of gravity, I don't care whether you're a Buddhist or atheist, it doesn't matter. The law of gravity is the law of gravity, whether you want to believe it or not. What goes up must come down, right? So in trading, there is a law of gravity on your emotions. And the Bible provided that information when it said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Now, when it talks about your heart, it is not the heart beating in your chest. It's talking about the seat or the balance of your emotions. And when you're trading brings on a tremendous amount of stress. And I'm going to help you walk and navigate around that, because if you don't master this, I don't give a flying fart how good you are at marking up your charts. You're going to eventually screw up your trades because your emotions are going to take over, and you're going to end up taking winning trades and converting them into losers. Let me give you an example of what I mean. How many times have you taken a trade and then you kept looking at the trade, and just because it did a small little pullback, you panicked, you closed the trade, only to look back at it the next day and find that the trade went exactly where you knew it was going to go, and you knew you screwed up? Well, what was wrong? Was it in the analysis part, where you did your technical analysis, whether you marked up your charts or again used our sexy analysts to mark up the charts, or did you miss something on the news event? No, none of that was the issue. Are you understanding what I'm saying? None of that was the issue. Well, what was the issue? You kept looking at it. Well, why were you looking at it over and over and over again? Because you had money on the line. See, oftentimes you can take some very good trades in a demo account and you think nothing of it. Oftentimes, some of you guys, you may have demo trades running now that you forgot completely about because your emotions were completely detached from the trade. But the moment you started trading with a live account, everything was on the line. Your mind is full of doubt. You knew you did your technical analysis correctly. You knew you did your fundamental analysis correctly. You checked the charts. You did the right thing. You traded during the right sessions. You did everything right except for one thing. You didn't have a plan in place on how to control yourself. And that is where the trouble began. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying thus far. We've all been through it. All of us. And anybody who says they don't, they're lying. Now, they may have become better at it, but everyone goes through the same process. Why? Because when your money is on the line, you begin to feel some kind of way about it. We could be close friends, but if you think I stole $100 out of your wallet or your purse, our friendship would not be the same as it was 10 minutes before you thought I did that. Amen, somebody. Why? Because we were cool friends up until you thought that I was messing with your money. The moment your money got involved, the friendship took on some jeopardy and liability if you thought that I tampered with your funds. Are you with me so far? So let's go through the stress levels about trading, and I'm going to give you three tools that can help you with your trading stress levels so that you're not panicking after you've entered trades. Okay, here we go. Number one, let's talk about the issues first a little bit further, and then we're going to go through the solutions and we're done. Okay, here we go. Number one, we stress over the analysis being done right. So here's where the first trouble comes in. When you're looking at doing an analysis, you come in with a routine. You say, okay, I'm going to mark, see if it hit the support and resistance levels. Did it hit a supply or demand zone? Did it hit a peak of the high of the day, low of the day? If you trade market makers method, did it create an M or a W? Did it create a double top, double bottom, triple top, triple bottom? Did it create a high or a higher high or a lower high? Or we do all of those different things, and people will spend infinite amount of time marking up their charts and basically living on their charts to mark them up just to make sure, okay, am I seeing what I'm seeing? That's the question you're asking. When I mark up my charts, am I seeing what I'm seeing? And once I'm done marking up my charts, seeing what I'm seeing, do I trust what I see to work out? And if you're not confident in your process, you could have marked everything up right, but you're still going to panic. Are you understanding what I'm saying? One of the things that I do, and this is just me, to get a better perspective and take notes on what I'm saying to help you. Okay, if you're one of my students, I know a lot of people are going to watch this video later. So take notes on what I'm saying to you. One of the first things I do, even if I'm looking to take a trade on the lower time frame, 5-minute or 15-minute, the first thing I want to do is get the bigger picture perspective of what's going on the higher time frame. Why? Because this gives me a directional bias. Write that down. The higher time frames, and this is just a bonus, it's not part of the 3 solutions, but this is just to help you out on what I do. It gives me a directional bias on the overall direction of what's going on. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Is this going to be a short-term move, or is this an overall directional bias? Is this trade going to be with the trend, or is it going to be against the trend? I need to know that in advance before I drop down to the lower time frame so I can get the bigger picture of the story of what's going on. If I'm trading a reversal trade, then I know automatically I'm going against the overall trend, hoping that I'm catching it at the low of the week, high of the week, low of the day, or high of the day. I put out a video on yesterday or the other day on some trades that I took on Friday. I put it out on Friday. I put out a video on some trades I took on Friday on some on NFTP trades. And I literally sat there waiting for the news event to happen. 5 minutes later, they hit the low, jumped in, and was able to make very good profits. I was waiting on it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I wasn't stressed out and all these different things because I was expecting these things to happen. So my levels of stress were reduced. Why? Because I wasn't looking at the lower time frame. I was looking at it from the higher time frame. So if you go back on Friday's video, you'll see that it was from the 4-hour time frame from which I gleaned my knowledge on the gold and the US JPY, and I didn't even include my NZD USD trades. I knew what was going to happen because I looked from the higher perspective, and then I was able to drop down to the lower, wait patiently for the fish to bite, and when that news event came out, I was able to snap it up. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? This is just a bonus. It's not part of the 3 things, but I'm telling you the first thing you need to do is to start looking from a higher perspective. And then you won't be surprised on what's going on the lower time frames. That's just a bonus. Let's get over to it. Number 2. So the first one is that we stress over our analysis. Did I get it correct? And you're living in doubt. And once you start trading from a position of doubt, everything else tends to cascade downhill because you're really not trading with confidence. That's why you place a trade, but you keep staring at it every few minutes. Why is that happening? Because you're not confident in what you saw. You think you're right, but you're not consistent in your process. And because of that, you're not sure. Now, for new people, it's okay because this is all new to you. But seasoned veterans are still doing the same thing. You're constantly staring at these trades every few minutes because you're You're wavering and you're in doubt on whether you're accurate on your analysis or not. And that analysis process, which we'll talk about when we get to the solutions, your analysis process is the first trial that's causing you to have so much stress in your life when it comes to trading. What is it doing? It's creating doubt. And now you got to put your money on the line on something you're in doubt about. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That's trouble number 1. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 says stress over losing the trade. Here's where it gets to the second half of your problem. The first half is, okay, I did an analysis, but I'm really not sure, but I'm gonna put some money up on something I'm not sure about, but I'm hoping for the best. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm just hoping for the best. So the stress comes in because you're betting on something you're really not sure about. Now you're talking about losing the trade. I could possibly lose this trade. If I lose this trade, oh my God, what happens if I lose this trade? And all this is running in your head. And so therefore, you're not focused on the trade itself anymore. You're focused on your emotions are kicking in high gear, and you're completely freaking out right now over this trade. And it's creating tons and tons of stress in your life. Here's what I'm talking about. Okay, so now this is where you actually execute the trade. You click the buttons, you move your stop in where you think it belongs, you move your take profit. That's the easy part. The next part is the waiting. What will happen now? And if it doesn't work out, how much am I going to lose on this trade? Okay, we're going to get to solutions, but I'm just spelling out this is the origin of our stress levels when we're trading that don't nobody want to talk about. Everybody got a strategy for everything except for you and our emotions. And our emotions are the very thing that's destroying our trades. But nobody wants to say anything about it. Shut up, don't say nothing. Our trades work out perfect. Look at all my... No. Do a video on your stress levels when you're trading. Because you acting like you in cruise mode all the time. And we know that ain't the gospel truth. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Problem number three. Oh, please hit the like and subscribe button because I want YouTube to share this video with other people who we all know if you're trading in this business, at some level you're going through this process. Okay, here we go. Number 3, stress over feeling like a sucker to the market. How many times have you gotten angry with yourself or either blamed the market makers, scammers, blamed trading systems? You just get angry because you feel like, you know what, if this trade does not work out, then I have to have a backup plan called blame. And I need somebody to be upset with. I'm being taken advantage of, because sometimes it feels that way. This is one of the reasons why, just a little bonus, write this down in your notes. One of the reasons why I began to start checking news before trades, which is what I teach my students to do. One of the reasons why I started doing that is because it was feel like, now I don't know if it's just me or what, but it was feeling like at times where the moment I place the trade instantly just shoots in the wrong direction and goes against me. And nobody told me any reason why. And I got very furious and angry. I'm like, what the freaking heck, bro? You understand what I'm saying? So then I began to learn to research and find news events. And oh my goodness, lo and behold, guess what I did wrong? I was taking trades right before news events or during wrong trade sessions. Because in the opening sessions, in the beginning opening sessions of each trading session, typically that's where you get a lot of news spikes or stop loss and manipulation in the market. But nobody was teaching this stuff on YouTube, which is where a lot of us are getting our education. We're getting it off of YouTube, which is why I'm doing these type of videos to give you a better scope of what you're actually supposed to be doing in the Forex market if you're going to trade or any of these markets, because it all requires the same thing. So the quality of education out there wasn't there for me to understand, hey, what time are you taking these trades? Which is what I always teach in my classes. When you're taking trades, you have to pay attention to the time, but I wasn't being taught this. So guess what? I was feeling like I was always under attack by either market makers or my broker or somebody. What is going on? And I'm feeling like I'm being suckered. But then I couldn't step away from it because it kept emphasizing the ability to make money online. So I kept coming back even though I felt I was at a disadvantage. So when you put together number 1, being stressful over the analysis, stressful number 2, over the possibility of losing this trade, and stress number 3 of the fact if I do lose this trade, then guess what? Who do I blame for it? So all of this created so much stress around it until, my God, you're going to go. I mean, trading can literally take years off your life because you'll be so stressed out. Let me take a step back and let's just be honest before we get to the solutions. Honest to God, some of you guys who's going to watch this video or who's watching it now, we got a few people watching now, and we're going to have a lot of people watching this later when I post it on all the social places. Here's the truth. The truth of the matter is you was a much nicer person before you started trading. I know you didn't want me saying it, but I said the truth. What happened? You used to be a happy-go-lucky kind of person. Now you're full of stress. You're full of worry. No matter of fact, while the markets are waiting to be open today, you're stressing out over whether you're going to make profit this week or whether you're going to end up with a losing account again. Come on now. That's the TRUTH. See, the market has intimidated you. The market has punked you to the point where you're completely stressed out. And as a matter of fact, it's hard for you to manage this side of you and then still keep a balanced life when you're in front of other people. They're starting to see you crack under pressure because of trading. And this did not exist before you started trading. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So what are some possible solutions to solve this issue that is nobody wants to really talk about, but it's fully there? And everybody knows that it's the elephant in the room, but everybody trying to pretend like it's just a little mouse in the corner. Although this trading career that you're pursuing is starting to consume you. What's going on here? I'm glad you asked. Let's get to some solutions and have a good week coming up. Here we go. Number 1, write this down, please. Stick to a strict rule-based system. I was studying with this guy who won championships in Forex, and he kept emphasizing that you must have a mechanical trading system. Are you hearing what I'm saying? A mechanical trading system. What does that actually mean? It means that hell or high water, regardless of what the market does, you have a systematic way of approaching the markets week in and week out. Now, oftentimes, or every once in a while, let me rephrase it, every once in a while, if it requires a little tweaking to the system, you tweak the system, but basically you got a routine down pat. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Let me give you an example. If you play football or watch football on a Sunday, the quarterback has all these different tricks and trades and all these different things that they do. They go through all these different things. The running back also have different tricks and the trades and everything they do, okay? Either way it goes, when the ball is hiked by the center who hands the ball to the quarterback, ultimately the quarterback, regardless of all the different ways he does his analysis of the defense and every different thing, or how they're going to blitz him and hit him and try to do this and that, and he scrambles and he got all these different plays on this wristband, but at the end of the day, there's really two things he's going to do with that ball. Two, he's going to throw it or he's going to hand it off to the running back. The running back has all these different ideas of different angles, and he can hit the hole, the left hole, run behind the center, or he can run behind the fullback and do all these different things. But at the end of the day, he really got two simple things he can do. He's going to either run up the field and catch the ball, or he's going to be handed the ball and he's going to run up behind somebody and try to get as many yards as he possibly can. See, when you step back away from the complication of everything and break it down to its finite simplicity, which is why I like our system called simplicity. It keeps it simple. It's a rule-based, simple way of looking at the markets that does one big thing that every trader needs. What is that? Take you out of it. See, a rule-based trading system, regardless of whose system you use, it needs to be very specific with the rules. Why? Because what happens is you will win some trades, you will lose some trades in this business. It's inevitable, nothing you can do about it. But the one thing you can do in this schizophrenic market is be the consistent one in the relationship. The market has always been schizophrenic. It has never been normal. It never will be normal because it's affected by all the world events. But the one thing that has to be commonplace is you. You have to find whatever works for you and come to the market and be very consistent with it. You, on the other hand, the markets are very inconsistent, and so are you. That's why you're having a hard time with your analysis. Because every time the markets change or do something wacky or crazy, you don't stick to the routine. You start flipping out too. And so now you got a schizophrenic market with a schizophrenic trader, and both of you guys are acting a plumb-duck fool trying to make this marriage work. It will not. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You have to be the consistent one in the game plan. So for me, I only got 2 or 3 tricks in my trade. Okay, because the market will change sometimes. Sometimes it'll be in a trending mood. Sometimes it'll be in a reversal mood. Sometimes it'll be in the sideways mood. Notice the market realistically only got 3 directions to it. It can go up, it can go down, or it can go sideways. Sometimes it will go continue in the trend formation. Sometimes it will reverse, and sometimes it will just be choppy. And therefore, I only have about 2 or 3 tricks of the trade that I need to use. Why? Because guess what? If that's the only 3 things that it can do, then I need to do an analysis based on the 3 things that it can do. And if I can't figure it out, guess what I do? Just leave that pair alone or leave the whole market alone until it comes back into a rhythm that I can understand. What does that do? It helps me to stay out of my emotions. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you are not a rule-based trader, you will get your hand slapped over and over again. Your account will keep being emptied out because you don't know how to balance your emotions. You are way too invested into these trades. And I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about your emotions. You have way too, some of you guys, you ain't got but about a $50 trading account. But you got $1 million account worth of emotions that you've invested into every single trade you take. So even if you lose $2, it's really $2. And when you take a step back, you say, well, it was only $2. But to you, it was $1 million in your emotions. Because your balance of emotions is off balance. And you're ready to kill somebody because you lost a $2 trade. As a matter of fact, guess what? Now I'm going to say this and I'm going to move on. But I got to bless and help your family. For some of you guys, you're about to get fired from your job. The trade ain't worth, realistically, if we take it for what it is, just tell the TRUTH, the trade ain't worth no more than about $5 or $10 worth of loss. But you staring on your phone when you should be doing your job. And you're about to get fired. And you know it. Because you can't resist staring at the trade on your phone, and it has you completely distracted from what you're doing at your job that's actually paying dividends to take care of your family. Do you see how this stress levels it's crazy. And so every time the boss walks by, you jumpy, and you think the boss don't know. So the boss think you're up to something sneaky because they don't know you up there trading, and you took the trade. It was a simple trade, and the most you can lose is $10, $5, whatever. But you finna lose your job that pays the bills over this $5 or $10 trade. You see how things are off balance when your emotions get in? It doesn't make sense. And see, even while I'm telling you this, you thinking about what I'm saying, I'm like, dang, this brother sure is right. Me and my family about to be homeless because my boss keep watching and I keep getting warnings about my production numbers, and he right. My God, he's right. Yeah, I know I'm right. Why is this happening? Because your emotions are being traded, not the market. You're trading emotions. And one of the ways to fix that is to have a system in place. And once you have placed that trade, let it alone. Number 2, reduce your lot size. Here's where the next problem comes in. Because you have a dream to quit your job, because you have a dream to do XYZ, your own dream is destroying your trades because you're putting too much of what you dream about into every trade. That's why every trade has to be successful. That's why you keep staring at every trade. That's why every trade you lose feel like you just lost your own life. It's a slow, painful, emotional death that you're going through because of the extra you're putting on the trade. What is the extra? Your dream of success, your dream of this, and your dream of that. And so these trades have to work out, because if they don't work out, me oh my oh me, what happens to my dream? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Take your dreams off the table. Take your future ideas off the table. Just leave it alone, place the trade, and treat it for what it is. It's an investment, and let's just see how it plays out. I did my analysis. I followed the rules. I controlled my lot size. I didn't put over, I got a $100 account, but I'm trying to put in a whole standard lot so I can flip this account and double up my money. And to see, your thinking is off. Why? Where's that coming from? Your emotions. And then when you do place that extra on the trade, that seems to be the one trade that never works out. It's like the market knows you over leveraged. And all your other trades that you use the regular amount on, the market's just, okay, cool. But the one trade that you put too much on, that seems to be the one that got you. What is it teaching you? Stay within your lane. Stop over leveraging because you have a dream to double this account this week so you can go do XYZ. Because over time, you can't sustain that anyway. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught. Even if you take the $100 account and flipped it to 1,000 by over leveraging, by the time you reach the 1,000, one time is all it takes for you to over leverage, to wipe everything out and put you right back at zero. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Where's this coming from? Your emotions. Get them out of this game. They do not belong here. Let's go to the last one. The last one is this: remove your dreams and goals from your equation. And we kind of covered this, but I want to say it one last time. When you have your dream of success involved in something, it automatically invokes emotions. And when it invokes emotions, then your emotions are now the driver versus the rules of the game. Let me leave you guys with this. I've said this many times before, but I'll say it again. Actually, I'm not going to tell this story. I got one going on right now myself. This is honest God truth. Honest to God. So My wife and I, we've relocated to a different state because we're, in the process of purchasing another property, and this and that. And so here's the problem with this. On tomorrow, my wife and I are supposed to do the walkthrough. And there's been a whole bunch of phone calls, making sure everything is in place by my lenders and all these different people. I mean, just hit me up, and and you know what, right now, to stabilize myself, and this is not my first rodeo with purchasing properties and this and that, okay? Not a big deal. But if I don't separate myself from the process, my emotions are going to kick in. Are they going to close on time? Because we've locked in the low interest rates. And here's the biggest deal. If we don't close on time, in a timely fashion, because the builder delays by even a week, guess what happens? The low interest rate that we have locked in with our lender will subject us to the current market rates, which means I'm going to be paying a whole lot more money every single month on the mortgage for the same house that I could have got it at a cheaper, that I would have been paying less. Are you understanding? Okay. So this pressure to get this thing completed and get us signed and get this thing closed right away, not because of the house, but because of the interest rates that we have. Or you understand? So now there's things that ain't been done. I sent my inspector out because I did hire an inspection of my own so I can have it documented in writing. And they were saying that these things still need to be done. They're not done, da, 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 da. So when I take that in my head is saying, oh my God, we may not make it. We may not make it. But the whole time what I'm doing is I'm doling out my emotions to leave myself neutral to the process. Why? Because if I don't do that, Uncle P is going to freak the heck out. And I want to use another word with God. Thank you for holding my tongue. I'm going to freak out. But to keep myself from freaking out, I'm just low-keying it, relax. Whatever happens, God is in control and everything going to be all right. And I thank God for my wife, because she says that all the time. She said, oh, don't worry about whatever happens. Well, God is in control. We're going to be okay. So I thank God I got a woman who knows how to work them emotions. Let's just keep it neutral. Whatever ain't done, we can figure it out. There's always a plan. We can stay. It's cool. Don't worry. So do you see how it's not just in Forex trading where you have to nullify and dull the emotions before they take over, and I start cussing people out and acting a plum duck fool. What the hell you mean this ain't ready yet? What the? You ain't, and you, see, I can go there. But who's really talking? Is it the logical side of me, or is it my emotions? That would be my emotions acting out of control, put me in a position that I don't need to be in. The same that I'm talking about that holds true this very week. All this is happening this week. That's why I'm telling you this. I can share some other neutral stories, but no, I'm telling you where I am, even as I'm doing this video. All these things are running in the back of my head, but I have to shut it up to make sure that I stay within the process, remain neutral, and do the routine. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Now, the same holds true when you're placing trades. Do your analysis, do your steps, place your trade, and watch this. Take your MT4 off your phone. Once you have placed enough trades, now this doesn't work if you're taking signals, like we do send out signals. So if you're taking signals, place a trade and leave it alone. Either way it goes, the biggest thing to do is divorce yourself from your phone once you place trades. Put the phone away, lock it away, leave it in your car, do whatever needs to be done so that you're not distracted by staring at the phone every few minutes, as if you're staring at your phone is going to make the trade come out better or worse. Once you place the trade, you've done your analysis, or you took a signal, you controlled your lot size. After that, the markets have full control over that trade, not you. So you staring at it is not going to make it be any different. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to freak out. So the best thing to do, take your trades, do the analysis, or take your signals, place a trade, proper lot size, walk away. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. Now, just real quick, let me recap one more time. On Wednesday, I am paying attention to news for the CAD coming out with its interest rates and core inflation numbers for the US. There is other news events happening during the week, but those are the ones that I'm going to be a little bit concerned about when I'm trading. Other than that, last week was NFP news. The big news is over with. So I think we're going to have a quick pretty quiet week. Okay. Now, for the students who are in the Simplicity group, I will be coming to class on Sunday. So please show up on time and we will have another great class like we always do. Until then, I will do one more video tomorrow because I want to do the report on, even though the markets were choppy last week, for NFP in the signals group, we still came out very well. So I'll give you a report on and do a video on that tomorrow. Otherwise, you guys have a beautiful trading week. And again, thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully this video was a little bit helpful to help you along the way to reduce your stress levels in trading. Have a good one. Thank you.